In 2016, Anita and I took part in a skiing expedition in Norway which would trace the footsteps of the Norwegian SOE-trained saboteurs in their mission to destroy the heavy water which was required by Professor Heisenberg's experiments with uranium to produce the Nazis' atomic bomb. In the hydro plant is now a museum dedicated to the mission, and in the museum shop I purchased this book, which enlightened me on the events and the subsequent abhorrent acts that accompany the history of Operation Freshman, where a group of Royal Engineers were assigned a top-secret mission. On the evening of 19th of November 1942, two Halifax bombers left RAF Skitton in northern Scotland, towing two Horsa gliders. On reaching the Norwegian coast, the ground was obscured by thick cloud, and radio transmitters deployed by Norwegian agents at the landing site failed. Navigating by map and compass in atrocious weather, the air crews were unable to find the landing zone, and they reluctantly turned for home. While still over Norway, disaster struck. The tow rope on the first glider iced over in the freezing conditions and snapped. The glider crashed into the mountains in Fellesden Forstand. The second glider crashed into Bengila Mountain, whilst its Halifax crashed into the Hallestad Mountain. Many were killed on impact, but those who survived were then executed by the Nazis, as Hitler had decreed all commandos as saboteurs and therefore should be shot. Sunday the 19th of November 2024 will mark the 81st anniversary of the daring airborne raid, codename Operation Freshman. The raid was an unsuccessful attempt to destroy the hydroelectric power station vital for the atomic research. Commemorating the fallen, 41 men died in the crashes or were later killed as prisoners of war. The crew of the Halifax is buried in Helland churchyard among the 100 Second World War burials at Oslo Western Civil Cemetery, and 5 Royal Engineers who were executed by the Germans in January 1943. The Second World War burials at Stavanger churchyard include 6 Royal Engineers and crews from the gliders. Effectively, these Royal Engineers involved in this operation would have been the forebears of the Airborne Engineers Unit now known as 9 Squadron. The reason I've made this short film is to gauge the possible interest by members or ex-members of the armed forces to participate in a commemorative cycle ride in Norway, to visit the crash sites of the gliders and to visit their target, the hydro plant in Vemork, and visit their final resting places in the military cemeteries. The route would take us from Oslo to the hydro plant at Vemork and then on to Stavanger via Helland Church Cemetery, which is a journey of 740 kilometres. In Stavanger we may have the opportunity to cycle out to one of the glider crash sites before returning to catch the train back to Oslo or the ferry to Kristiansand and then cycle back to Oslo. As you can see, I've started making plans for this activity and have done a fair bit of personal research into the military operation, but I don't want to go into too much detail until I can ascertain just how many others may be interested. Travel to Norway is possible by land and ferry. You can drive to Denmark and then take the ferry to Oslo, or you can fly directly to Oslo. Warning, Norway is not a cheap country. Beer in a bar can be up to £10 a pint. Accommodation could be available in hostels, of which there are many in Norway. Could this project be sponsored by one of the regimental associations, like the Falklands 40? All of these are questions that are still left to be answered. Are you interested? Let me know.